choosing high school classes that you're passionate about and that will benefit you and your college journey in the future is critical. So here is how you can handle this process with success. And why should you really be choosing your high school classes with college in mind? Hello everyone, my name is Ava and I'm the founder of Voiced, an education consulting company that focuses on preparing elementary, middle, and high school students for the very competitive college admission process. We also focused on improving their writing and speaking skills. So today I would like to spend several minutes here of your precious time and discuss how important it is for you to focus on choosing your high school curricula with college in mind and not just selecting classes based on what the school is ready to offer you or what you feel comfortable and confident taking. Apart from that, yes, you will also have to know why should you be striving to take the most competitive classes and most importantly, classes that you really passionately care about. So about 6.1% of colleges when interviewed mentioned that they really care about the high school curricular and the courses that a student took during their high school career, and only 7.3% of colleges mentioned that this is of no importance to them. So what kind of classes you take during high school and your academic preparation happens to still be one of the most important criteria when colleges evaluate your application. Therefore, since curricula really matters, you would like to choose college-based classes not based on what the school has to offer or just kind of going with the flow and choosing the next level of science, the next level of math, but kind of being cognizant of what exactly colleges are looking for. So as I say, if you come to me in your junior year of high school and if you tell me I really want to go to Stanford, and I take a look and see that you have not had any preparation for that, or not just Stanford, but any of the top 20 schools or Ivy League schools, I have to tell you that getting into these schools will be very difficult at that point in time. Most of the times, planning for the top 20 or even top 40 schools in the country begins at middle school level. So not only should you be planning your high school curriculum in high school, but you in fact should start much before that. Now, no pressure. I understand sometimes looking at this or listening to these kinds of messages can feel so overwhelming. And, sometimes parents come back and say, well, this is already so much to think of and so much to plan. And where's their childhood? And I understand. However, all you have to do is just have a little bit of knowledge and awareness of where it is that you're headed. And again, there needs to be no pressure in this issue. All you need to have is a bit of education. And this is what I'm hoping to give you today. So again, start planning early. Ideally, this conversation of choosing very carefully, thoughtfully the courses for each grade level should start in middle school. So I ask students, what classes do you want to take during high school? And then we map them out. But again, if those students come to me fairly early, and I mean in 8th grade, ideally, when they begin planning for high school, right around that time, I do have a lot of students who know that, the 4 years go by very fast, so they really want to start early. So right around middle toward end of 8th grade is when you can kind of start selecting your course for high school. So an easy way for you to do this yourself is to obtain a copy of your high school's school curriculum coursework, the course catalog. So take a look and ask if ideally you should know which high school you'll be attending by then. Take a look and see. Sometimes these are available online. You can visit online and see how the school has, sometimes they have pathways or they have certain prerequisites for particular classes that you might be interested in taking, and see what kind of level of mathematics, for example, do I need to have? Should I have taken already geometry in 8th grade? Or do they expect me to have finished Algebra 2 and Geometry by now if I want to be participating in a more accelerated math course? Or maybe you can plan to take some of that over summer and test out a certain level of mathematics, for example, so you can join the math level that you're looking forward to joining in freshman. Make sure that you really know very well your skills and your preparation. Do not jump ahead. When it comes to the core curriculum, you do want to have a very solid math and English skills, because ultimately if you do not have the foundation, it's going to come back and bite you later on. So be very certain of your own foundation. If you're not sure, ask a teacher, tutor, counselor, someone to evaluate and kind of give you an idea of where you stand, so you do not jump ahead and again spending summer assessing, evaluating, taking some courses to make sure that you really are a good fit for these classes you're planning to take. But start ahead of time. Next thing that you want to do is maybe have that conversation about college. Okay, so ideally, where will I want to go? I know for a lot of 8th graders, this may seem like way too far in the future. But we parents know that time goes by very fast, and without proper planning, if you do not have the destination in mind, you will not be able to plan out the journey. So you cannot just sit down and wait for the next favorable wind to blow you in whichever direction. You want to kind of be focused and have a game plan. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, as I always say. So do sit down and think of these colleges that might be a possible option for your child, of course, and you do not have to have all of them on the list. You can just have your top 2, 3, 4, 5 schools, or maybe you can just be safe and consider the schools in the state where you live and think, okay, what are the top schools here that I might be interested, and then start with those schools in mind. Take a look and see what kind of majors do they have. Does something that you really are interested sound very appealing to you? And then maybe you can plan on 1 or 2 or 3 such majors. On the school's website, you can actually take a look and see if they have any prerequisites for that specific, coursework to start out, or for you to declare that major as a sophomore. Just educate yourself, look through the websites and see what it is that they expect from their students, from the incoming freshmen, and what is their application process. So make a note of all that is required, all the required subjects, as well as those that seem interesting to you. And maybe you want to make sure that you can, incorporate any specific extracurricular requirements that school may have. Plan out for some of these to be in your high school curriculum, in your high school schedule, and see if maybe orchestra is important to you, or maybe if any 3D modeling is important to you, or theater, speech and debate, or whatever you feel that you would like to experiment with and you feel that you have some strength. Or perhaps you've already been doing some of these activities in middle school and it will just feel like a natural progression for you. So looking at the college requirements and then looking at the high school requirements, looking at your foundation and what it is that you're going to be able to tackle naturally, effortlessly, or maybe with a little more effort, but it should just feel like a progression, natural progression for you. So reverse engineering the process is very, very important. So make sure that the courses that you take, or at least you can sprinkle, courses throughout from freshman all the way to senior year of high school that are challenging, and they also progress into one another. So do not think, okay, I'm just going to go with whatever the school gives me. And if that is, for example, bio, which most schools start out with bio as freshmen, which I do not know why, but a lot of them arrange it that way. To me, more natural way, especially if students are interested in STEM, would be to start with physics, but then again, it depends on their level of mathematics. So you can plan out your STEM courses, you can plan out your mathematics and science to go hand in hand. So do not jump ahead. Just make sure that you also not just have the academic viability, but you also have the strength to weather through a challenging courses. So make sure they're challenging but appropriate. So again, talk to your current counselor, maybe look at the workload that you have been handling and you're willing to handle. How much homework will you have each night for each of these courses? Do you have time for extracurricular activities and hobbies? Are you already involved in sports? And if so, are you planning to continue with these sports and play that same sport at school and be part of the school team? Will that sport really, and depending on the time you'll have to have, involved in that, if that isn't requiring you to be there every single day and Saturday and Sunday for the games, well, take a look and see, how good are you? And if you are really good and devoted, will that carry maximum weightage on your application for college? Then when you're planning for that, take a look and see if the college also has that specific sport, and will they be able to support you, recruit you? Is that a Division 1, 2, or 3 school? So these are all the moving pieces that you can account for when you begin looking at your schedule. So also imagine what your obligations will be for the next year, and maybe as a junior and maybe even as a senior. Are you planning to be a president of a club? And if so, just make sure that you have enough time for that extracurricular activity, which could be quite a bit. If that is, for example, robotics and engineering club, I have to tell you, you will probably be there not just during the seasons, but you will have to be there way ahead of time, preparing for the project or for competitions, sometimes pull up all-nighters, be part of hackathons. So there are a lot of things that go into play here. So maybe you're planning to be getting a part-time job, so account for that as well. How much time will these additional responsibilities require from you? And then think about if you really want to have, 5 AP courses that particular year of high school. For many high schools, freshmen, and for the freshman year, they will not most likely have you take any APs, but they might allow you to take an honors course. Then for sophomore, they usually allow 1 or 2 AP courses, or 1 AP and 1 honors. But it all depends, what kind of high school you're part of. There's some schools that are very much STEM heavy, and there's some high schools, especially in the Bay Area, they allow all AP courses, honors and AP courses, starting from even 8th grade. So it all depends on, your high school and what you have been, qualified to take, and, your readiness, academic preparation. And there are some high schools, obviously, where you can have dual enrollment, where you can be taking college classes as a concurrent enrollment with the high school. So there are all kinds of arrangements, but the idea is for you to not overstretch in high school so you can, crash and burn, but to make sure that you have strong preparation, but it is also not robbing you off from pursuing any extracurricular activities, or having no hobbies, or just being completely wiped out emotionally and intellectually, so you just feel exhausted. So this kind of planning is very, very important for your success. I have seen very many times students who are excellent and they are very motivated, really strong, they have talents and they're ready to work for it, but because they end up in the wrong school, and because they're not, they just kind of go by the name or what they've been told, or just maybe there's lack of assessment of skills from home, and there's maybe some push in the wrong direction. They just end up in the wrong curriculum, in a wrong school, and high school is not a very happy experience for them. And unfortunately, that just somehow tinges their entire progress forward, and sometimes even affects their acceptance in college. So you just want to start this process as early as you can, and you want to have the right little, goals that you have set for yourself, and to move surely and steadily, but make sure that you have paced yourself really, correctly, and you do have the input of someone who knows your capabilities, who is ready to test you, evaluate you throughout the process, and readjust, your schedule and everything that you're taking on accordingly. All right, so again, if you feel the current workload is too much, or you have additional responsibilities that kind of put you over the top, consider stepping down and moving back from some of the subject areas that you might have taken on. You do have, I think, once you begin an AP, again, depending on the school district, but you're given some time to attend the class, decide, and maybe even drop if you feel that you're insecure. So if you're a student who hates reading, for example, do not feel that you have to be pushed to taking, AP English and literature, or AP English composition. These are really high-level rigorous courses. They require reading and writing, they require analysis, they require logical thinking. If you're more of a STEM kind of person and you know that computer science is going to be your major, or you're definitely going into